Definitely I need mic aggro. Hello everybody, I'm trying to get my microphone to quit sagging here. Yeah, I'm just here in YouTube. Making sure everything's working real quick. Let me just check this. If you're coming in, I'm just going to be working on a figure. Oh man, two-step verification. My favorite thing in the world. I don't know about you guys. At least it sends it to my email and not my phone. Yep, that would be me. Cool. So, going to hopefully be broadcasting here. I'm just checking to make sure that we are. I think we are now for sure. But yeah, welcome if you're just coming, or even if you're seeing this later when it's not live. I'm just going to be making a new figure in Zbrush for Character Creator, Iclone, Blender, Unreal, etc. And so this particular guy here, or woman, it's actually going to be a woman, it's just a fantasy character that I am starting. I started out with a base model in Character Creator just to get proportions. And so now we've got her some very interesting proportions here. And I'm going to start working on the face here. Sorry about that. And let's just go ahead and get things set up a little. I'm going to work pretty low res here to start with, obviously, which is what you should be doing. And where's my pen here? So first things first, I'm just going to start probably about level 1 here. I'm going to get rid of these nasty, what do you call it, ear holes that we do not want, do not need. That can be sculpted back out after the fact if necessary. Let's go ahead and just make it a little bigger, and that's about as powerful as you're going to get right there. Okay, cool. So that is, oops, let's go back, undo all that, because we need this to be symmetrical. Pressing the X key, jumping back down, and doing it over. It's okay. It's a very, very simple thing to do, so not a big deal. All right, looks good. So with that, any other structural changes? I can't see a ton of. We're just going to start, really working some of the parts. I'm going to probably do some musculature and that kind of thing. I don't think I'm going to change the feet. Let's just go ahead and frame her back up. Get the zoom back into a better way. Let's see. Just start here, and this is really just going to be the detail layer essentially of sculpting to some degree. A little bit of work on, sub final detail, of course. This is just really to lay it all out, and then once that is done, we'll take it back into Character Creator and then send it back over here for final detailing using face tools and all of that good stuff. So just real quick, I'm just wiping ears out a little more in a more detailed way. Just going to start some interesting changes here. This is going to be an original character. Of course, many things look a lot like many other things, so hopefully this won't be too reminiscent of anything that already exists, because I'm definitely not trying to do that. Just kind of with some of that right there. It looks great. Okay, see, so the simplest changes obviously can make a world of difference. Kind of sharpen up this jawline slightly here. Not sure what my thoughts are for this gal just yet. Could be used for just about anything. Horror movie, my fantasy animation that I'm starting. Some of anything. She does remind me a little of Syl, a little bit for starters, from Species, but that is not what I am doing. Let's be clear. So I'm going to jump this up, going back to the 3 level, which is a lot closer to what we be at in the end. I don't want to over age her. I do want to give her a little bit of puff to the eye there, just character wise. I tend to want to make huge eye bags on just about everything. I don't know why I do that. I think it just looks more character-like, but we don't really need or want that in this case. Ethereal, yes, to some degree. Okay, that's not horrible. It is odd in the right way. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna try and snap out some of this neck here just a little bit, give it a little more creasing, a little more definition through that muscly area there. This is just structural stuff I'm doing here. I'm not doing anything too detailed at all yet. Obviously, you don't want to at this stage. So this is just pushing the bigger things into place. It's starting to look pretty good. This will be a clothed, somewhat clothed figure. So not horribly worried about certain things being or not being there. And overall, I think that's pretty good for this stage. This is just real rough sculpting. Very slender hands on this one. I have to be careful on getting in here. Obviously, these need to be handled with care, so I'm just going to divide these up another about almost 4 million here now. And it doesn't need a ton of work, obviously, but I am going to do skin textures, wrinkles, all that good stuff. We are at a level 5, so we can go, in my opinion, another level and still get, you know, super great, awesome high fidelity out of it. I'm just kind of playing with the idea of these tendons being in here. If you're watching, say hello. I like it when people converse. Just remember, it's a public conversation, folks. Anyway, that was creepy. Yeah, I'm just going to work on these tendons a little bit. And this is going to be for a new figure. I just kind of a little bit inspired this morning to do something else. I've been working on some medieval stuff. This could be for that same grouping of figures. It's kind of a Dungeons and Dragons based group of figures. This also can be for a horror collection of figures. I mean, so there's so many different places this can go. This can be used in games. These can be used in animation. They can be used in films and special effects. So that's what the whole purpose of making all this stuff is. And you're like, well, what are you doing with this? Well, that's what. So if you have any of those use cases or 3D printing even, we can get these guys, pose them, and 3D print them. Works just the same for all your, you know, printing needs, or like if you want to make D&D minis, or if you want to make, you know, full-on, you know, let's say 12-inch high or so sculpture, you know, printed sculptures or all that. I do that too if you guys want to get anything like that. Plus, you know, the painting of them and so forth if necessary. So I'm getting back to a lot of things. I have to do this sort of stuff to kind of get my mojo back a little in certain regards. So these are why I'm working on these. And it's also a new kind of venture, you know, for me to start creating this way. Something I should have done a long time ago, you know, making these figures for sale in an online marketplace. Residual income, there's nothing wrong with that. Sit back while, you know, the thing you made once makes money 30 times. That's the way I recommend everyone work. But don't pay attention to me right now. I'm just yammering. Lots changing in the world, but I'm still going to be an artist. If it kills me, it might. It almost has before. Okay, cool. So on the insides of these hands, I'm just going to put some lines. The lines on my hands are very different than a lot of people's, so I'm kind of make a lot of my figures to match similarly to the lines in my hands. I don't want to give this person too many wrinkles, but I also don't want them to feel smooth and fake. These are just real basic lines here, though. The true detail will come later. Figuring out where these go is the hardest part. You get a knack for it after a while, though. Something like that, and somewhere in there, I suppose. Yeah, close. Cool, and these are just the basic, you know, lines and so forth. I have two simian lines, one on each hand. So that's what I meant when I said my hands are odd. All right, we call me monkey hands around here. Cool, so that is a decent start. Just zoom into the head a little more. Don't over detail your head while you're trying to lay out your figure or do everything else. Do everything equally as you work, because you'll wind up over detailing something and then have to wipe out that detail to, if you're, let's say, retopologizing or do something. We're not going to be retopologizing this character because it's got a base under it that we need to keep the integrity of. But you get the idea of what I mean, I hope. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let me see here. I'm just gonna kind of kick back here. Not kick back, but kind of check a couple references, some stuff. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe I should have made those nostrils a little bit smaller or less, but I think that's fine. That is fine. Okay, so this will be where it gets interesting. Cool. I just figure, you know, I'm going to do some stuff more in line with the things I just want to make, and less what I think you know, the world wants me to make. I think that's just the way most artists should work anyway. But I made a lot of stuff for a long time that I was like, well, people will want this, people will want that. And I guess that's fine if you're just going to be, you know, making props or copies of stuff or whatever. But it's not really, in my opinion, it's not going to make you feel like you're doing original art. And, you know, that's probably the stuff I feel the best about when I do it. Not that I'm always 100% on all the things I'm saying here. I'm the worst at keeping my own, you know, plans. But I think that it's a good practice to follow, or to try and follow if you can. I'm probably one of the biggest hypocrites in my own world. but it's still good advice. Like, you know, starting out with your big shapes, then your smaller shapes. That is definitely the better way to go. Let's go ahead and grab our move tool and just try to push up all this under, not so big, all this under chin, just to give me a little more definition through there. It's quite the odd, cool look. Just sliding my move tool along the neck there, and it's pushing that other to where it almost makes it like a, almost like a fold. And then we grab our inflate, puff out just a small bit, kind of right along here, just to round over this area a little bit. Just looking a little too, kind of too flat. I'm also going to grab the move, pull up this sort of under middle chin like that. I think that's pretty cool too. All right, so let's zoom back a bit. Zoom back a bit. That sounds like an African phrase for something. But have you seen the zoom back a bit? It's the new car. It's made out of wood. Those guys down there, man, they are seriously talented. Making the strangest, the coolest stuff out of the strangest things, you know. Wooden cars and motorcycles. Now that's talent, in my opinion. People are not appreciated enough. Let's get a little more cheekbone, I think, happening here. Yeah, that's looking a little better. So a lot of my art, I'm wanting to go back to doing more odd stuff. Like I said, I don't want to just do fan art, stuff like that, just for sales, but I want to sell things, yes, but I want them to sell because they're cool, and they are definitely what people want because of that, you know? Hope that makes some sense. All right, so with these hands, I've kind of changed my mind a little bit. Let's zoom in here. I'm gonna make, let's just take, well, the intensity is fine, the size a little bit. I'm just gonna make some edges here. Maybe here and here. I'll have to increase the resolution to really get the detail out of this, but this is the starting point. I'm making some ridges here because I'm going to separate these fingers into joints, into pieces. Hopefully those are where I really want them. I will have to, as you can tell, make a smaller brush, but you know, this is a landmark layout situation now. Okay, that's probably okay. I might need to even do this. But what are you doing, Sean? Well, you'll see. You'll see. Shut your pie hole. Kidding. No, you'll see. Just trying to make this jointed. So this will all be cool in a sec. Oops, I went the wrong direction in that one. Just pushing in instead of pulling it out. Keep those comments to yourself. And I'm going to come around this way now. This way. And just finish this one out. I forgot. Do we need? No, I guess that is the finished part of that one. And these really should probably be more connecting, kind of like so. Which is going to make them a little odd inside the hand, but that's okay. This thing is odd. That's what we say. That's what we say. Oops, went the other direction again. It won't be a problem as long as I don't make it a problem. That's what I tell everybody. Don't make it a problem. It's not a problem unless you make it a problem. Then I follow it with some type of expletive. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop that one out more like that and in more here. Let's get rid of this and make that ridge come up like that. That's a little more what I'm talking about. And we'll just, you can see those do not match up here. So this will have to go away. And this one will be essentially moved up, which I probably will have to do to all these, honestly. It's a little too far back. Got a little ahead of myself. It's doing the happy dance. Let's just do this here. Wipe that out. Like so. Let's carry those around the way they were meant to be. All right, that looks a lot better. Obviously, I'll need to do these for all the joints, but it's kind of a preliminary, let's see if it works situation here. I think that's doing all right. I'm going to build up those knuckles on the top just slightly here. I think they go a little too flat. Here we go. It's very interesting. Like that. So that will be closed pretty much on the entire figure. I did chest detail only because I want that to sort of show through shape-wise. That makes sense. All this will have clothing on it, so I'm not really worried about detail there. However, the face, yes, we're going to need to put some decent detail into the face. I'm just going to do the basic sculpting on it here now, and then we'll worry about super detail and like the major detail, probably layer 6, including all the expressions will be, on their own, have their own issues there. They will be done on those layers through face tools. So let's see back here. Let's take a look. Something like maybe this would be kind of cool. And this is just me playing right now to try and figure out what would be best to do. That's not bad. Let's go with just a little bit more intensity. It's probably a lot more intensity with my, no, that looks all right. I do also want to, here in a second, turn off my symmetry there. Sorry, I couldn't spit out the word. She's got a little bit of that bran muffin head feeling right now. Don't know that I want all of that to be the case. So I'm just gonna come in here and throw a little more here and there to get rid of those zero texture spots. Let's try a different brush now. Probably something with a little different texture or variation on the theme. Maybe not that. Let's try something with just a more singular crack vibe to it. Let's just try this one maybe. That's not singular. There are a couple more deep ones. Now we're going to go to an actual, like a wrinkle tool or whatever here, just to ensure that we've got certain things controlled. That's kind of cool. Maybe a little here. Like I said, this is definitely going to be hidden under clothing, everything down below the neck. So now I'm just going to come up here and play with some more. Let's just find just a, a texture brush or something along those lines to start the process here. One of my favorites I like to use a lot is this particular one from this creature pack, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't believe it was Flip Normals, although it may be. I'm just going to take this down, take the intensity down quite a bit, and just sort of make some, little fleshy areas where the jaw comes down and stuff like that. Might be a little too intense. Slightly less, maybe a little larger even. That's a lot larger. You can just see that's way too intense still. I'm at a really sensitive point on the brush, so I gotta be careful not to overdo it. Maybe in the back of the head, kind of coming like so. So that gets wrinkled up when the head bends backwards. Let's go ahead and pull some of that down into the neck, because why not? It's odd. I like odd. So I'll just kind of pull some of these major ones around now. Just in case, somebody gets this and decides to make it not have clothes, I suppose. It's not really what it's intended for, but you could if you want to, I guess. Keep hitting the the background and spinning this girl around too much here. Let's just get the rest of this in. And here in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and put on the symmetry just to make this a little less labor intensive. So we turn on X, and now we zoom out. Start throwing this on as like actual body texture. And I'm just going to go real generic back and forth here. Doesn't really need much flow, but I'm going to do it kind of a flow around the arms. I want to do a good job. I like my job and I do a good job. And run, go quickly. I don't know if y'all have seen that cat on the internet yet. Big Billy with the big wet willy. If not, look it up. You'll thank me later. So right now I'm just doing the flow along the sides. And this is just kind of a general texture, just so she has something at the clothes, are removed for someone's animation. And I know it looks like I'm going really fast, but this is also one of those things where you get a feel for it over the years. So it's not that easy, but it's also, it gets to a point where it's not that difficult either. So depending. The biggest problem is overdoing it to where you have way too many wrinkles, way too much texture. That can definitely happen. Pressure also matters in how things are laying down. You see I'm doing smaller strokes in areas and larger ones in others, and so on. The flow always will be the same given a jointed figure, anthropomorphic, etc. As the flesh moves around certain areas, it just does that in certain ways given where the body bends. So we'll always have that same kind of setup and layout. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know, because I'm just sitting here working away and Not bored, but you know, cool to talk to you guys. I've had some viewers, which is always nice to see. We are on YouTube, so there are definitely more people kind of prone to watch than probably Facebook in general. I don't know what it is about that. They suppress so much of their stuff. I don't understand the point of having it. Yeah, if it's for the people, for the artist, and so forth, well, they're not really doing it for that reason, in my opinion, but that's just me being negative. Let me make sure we don't have any mask on there. Felt like I added one, but I guess I did not. I'm just throwing a general, like I said, texture, making it harder along the bend lines, you know, where the wrinkles would be. Making sure the flow is correct around certain shapes. Making it kind of nasty in certain regards too, in certain areas, but this is kind of an odd creature, so feels like it's you know, kind of a nightmarish creature to in some regard. Comment and let me know what you think of it. That would be cool. But I'm making a new character for the Reallusion Marketplace today. And I've got some stuff in there now. You see, this is not at the highest level. We're at level 5. There would be at least 6 levels of detail, and that will happen once we bring it back in. Face tools will get most of that detail in the face, but I think I do need to do one more level probably of the body before I send it back, so that we can bake out those normal maps and so on. That's the point. And okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Just need to get the backs of the legs more now. Yeah, got my new ChatGPT voice update last night. It's pretty cool. They have a pretty low limit on the interactions you can have with it right now, which is like, well, what's the point then? You know, I don't like to pay for something and be told I can't use it. I thought I paid for it for a reason. That's just me. I'm sure you all feel the same. But I get it. I mean, they're still experimenting. It's not a full rollout just yet of everything. It's just the voice, and they want to see how it does, and they know there's going to be this huge high demand, and it's going to flood their servers, and blah, blah, blah. But I think that's all just excuses. I think, you know, it's just a big conspiracy to not let me have what I want. I'm kidding. No, there are reasons. However, I want what I pay for. As do we all. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead now and work the arms, that basic texture, front and back. Always remember to get the insides of the arms and legs, because I can't tell you how many times I have forgotten them myself. It's kind of an up-down motion I'm just making here to cover quickly. Nothing's too crazy. More than likely I should be doing these long, but instead of across, it will take less time to do them long, and they look better. Crazy. It just looks like a more natural flow, which it is. So as we crisscross some of this, that will be nice because it bunches up under the arms. Like I said, let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you think of this character I'm putting together? No idea on a name yet. No, Wrinkle B word will not be a good name for her. I've already thought of that one. I'm hilarious. Let's see. Wrinkle B. Let's just get some elbow messy right there. And see, you can just kind of flop this in with some of these brushes. And sometimes it's just like, wow, nothing but happy accidents there. I'm the Bob Ross of Wrinkled Old Ladies. That's me. I don't know, laughter from the background or anything on that one. Nope, not at all. Cool. Getting some of the hands, just some junk on there, some junk. Now those aren't supposed to be wrinkled because these fingers are kind of like additions. Kind of a weird doll puppet finger situation happening there. I don't get it either. Okay, so let me see. I have some particular brushes that I'm trying to find. We will see. Oh, you know what? It's going to be in the alphas. So let's just go looking. Yeah, look at that. Name of that folder. That is what you think it is. So let's just try this guy maybe. This is made from real live stuff. I'm going to use the, I don't know, the probably standard or the clay buildup. It doesn't really matter as long as you do a drag for an alpha, and we're going to select that alpha again. We'll see how this goes. Come on, close up. And is that going to be correct? Let me zoom in. And then intense that. I think what I might have to do is smooth the area now. And add, so that's just intense a lot. Too much. Make sure our focal shift is a nice fall off, and they seem, I think it's got to do with the brush I'm using there. So let me find something, just a standard would probably be okay, I guess. Let's see, whoops. Standard, where you at? Thank you. And drag rectangle for the type, and then our alpha is going to be this guy. Let's see if that helps. And it doesn't. That's really weird that because the intensity is not up still. It's this. Whoa, too much. That was funny. Let's just not getting the detail. So let's try a different alpha, because that may be what's happening. Let's just try this one here. Maybe this isn't the way to go. Maybe I should just need to hand make them. That's not awful, but it's also not good. Okay, well, we're going to make our own once again. So I'm going to come back here to brush. And we're going to use this guy that I love so much. It's just a really good flesh breakup kind of brush. Make that a little smaller and just sort of, ooh, that's way too much. Turn the intensity down and kind of start increasing just a little bit. And no, they're not pretty. They're not supposed to be. So I'll draw size, intensity even less now. Just kind of break up the area around that slightly. That's a little too much. Yeah. They're not going to be visible most of the time, but in case somebody wants to use them that way is why I'm doing this. Intensity low, size much lower. Let's go with the size even lower. So we get a little bit of sharper lines out of that. And then a little more structure, or I mean texture. Like so. That should be good. All right, cool. All right, so like I said, we're going to go up one more level. I'm going to divide. This is going to probably take us to like 6 million or 13. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get some skin alphas here. And this is just body stuff, so I'm going to just go with a generic skin texture here. And just start like generic skin. That looks pretty good. So this is more of a pattern. It looks better the smaller you are. You know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to go back and grab a different one that I know. It's a it's an actual base layer of skin, directional skin base right here. This way I can make it larger or smaller as I need, and it works really well. It works really well, that is. And that one's a little too strong, so we'll just come down to about there, and just kind of breaks up any of the overly smooth stuff. And we are still working in symmetry, but it has a nice natural feel. It gives you like the micro detail of the skin structure there, the not the pores, but you know, those little crisscrosses. It's kind of a natural, nice brush. Still got to hand do it, but it looks good real fast. And if you don't get your brush too big, you know, it won't look blobby and weird. And if you get too small, then of course it's going to take you 12 years to do it, right? So I'm just kind of crisscrossing across the X part of the body here that we use for our mirroring. It's just the skin base texture, and no fine wrinkles, no pores, nothing like that. Not at this point anyway. And see, if I wipe out some of these really harsh lines there, I can go back over with the skin base, and it's like, well, the detail's still there, so your mind doesn't go, oh, there's something missing, because there isn't. You just softened the under structure of that. I'm not sure what's going on here, but we'll just smooth that over like a Ken doll and just get that looking good. Yeah, doing these videos is a lot like talking to myself. So if I say anything disturbing, it's usually because that's just how I think. How I act when I'm completely alone too. Who are you when I'm not looking? Well, probably a lot more weird and crazy than when you are. So I do tend to, I don't talk to myself when there's other people in the house, but when there's absolutely nobody else here, I definitely do. I mean, I'm a really good person to talk to, and I recognize that. I'm a good conversationalist. Isn't that right, Smeagol? Yes. Now I'm confusing all the entire rest of the house, probably. My cat just looked at me like, what? Alright, so just running along the direction of the skin, because this is a directional skin base. So I'm trying to keep that somewhat flowing, you know, with the how it's supposed to be laid on there. The wrinkles, these could be micro wrinkles, so they tend to need to follow that same direction and pattern. Yes, it takes a long time, depending upon how large your brush is or whatever else is going on, but just letting it do a little autosave. So who's watching, and what do you got to say about it? What do you think of what I'm doing? And let me know. Just getting more of this stuff done. And you can see, I mean, I'm literally, legitimately sculpting. I have had people say, is that AI? No. Is that automatic in any way? No. It's real sculpting, just like in real life with clay, and this would be like a stamp tool or something, or you know, your stylus that you're tapping over and over. I like working in 3D just because I don't have to hold things a certain way. I mean, I don't have to have clay all over the place. I mean, that's my thing. I do like working in real clay, but space restrictions and material costs, I tend to get a little like, ugh, I'm just going to do it in 3D. And then me having to get everything out and put it away if I do it that way, because I don't have my big shop right now. That also is kind of just one of those things for me where I just want it out and ready to go. That's why all my editing stuff and all that gear is always out, always plugged in, always ready for working, or my you know, this stuff. You know, it's all set up and ready to create, because I just don't want to have to grab stuff out and, you know, do all that. Any artist, I think, would like their stuff ready to go. And you get a creative idea at 4 in the morning, you just want to do it. So I highly recommend that. unless of course you're tired, then don't wake up at 4 in the morning. I mean that for the rest of the world, certain people, and all of you listening. Don't get up at 4 in the morning. Well, unless you're going to a high-paying job. It's all joking. Joking aside, let's just shut up and make stuff. All right, so I'm still going along with all this skin texture here. Almost done. We've gotten the entire back and upper body, you know, all that. I need to check the head, like the back of the head and stuff, but this is mainly just the body right now. And it just gives it a better, more realistic feel because the light hits it a certain way. It doesn't look like plastic. It's one of the big secrets of, you know, character creation. Definitely realistic skin texture if you're going to make a realistic character. This one, unlike the stylized, is definitely more realistic than those. I'm just going to come up the back of the neck here now. It doesn't have to follow a particular directional pattern, just as long as you're not crisscrossing and Xing in circles all over the same area, if that makes sense. So once we get a base pattern or base texture down, then we'll be able to move on. So let me know what you guys think there. We got comments on the screen, say hey, you know, etc. Right now, like I said, I'm just doing kind of a base texture. It's nice to see so many people watching today. I don't know what I did right. Oh, it's because it's on YouTube and not Facebook. That's what it is. Facebook's weird about that kind of thing. So, yes, this is a bit dark art. I do a lot of, you know, stylized stuff too, but the dark stuff has always been the thing I've done since I was a child. I just like it. It's got a rich feeling to it. You know, it feels like there's a lot of substance and like story under there, sort of built in already. It's just fun. You get judged for it, but who cares? People are like, I don't want anything to do with that. Then don't. Yeah, I'm real caring about that kind of stuff. Let's see. So we got this really odd Slender Man kind of vibe happening here. It's a woman, so a slender woman, I guess. Just doing some more filler. This is all going to be not seen for the most part down here, but I'm just going to do it in case, you know, like I said, somebody purchases this figure from the Reallusion store and wants it naked or wants it, you know, shoeless or pantsless or whatever you're into, buddy. Yeah, whatever that somebody wants. I do not judge with what you want to do with figures. If it's something I wouldn't approve of per se, well, don't put my name on it, please. But I do want to be credited for these things if you don't mind. I don't think there's a forced licensing issue on that from their store. But it's always nice to have someone say, hey, yeah, this dude made this figure, you know. Put me in the credits of your movie. You know, but not necessary. Yeah, do what you want. Okay, so that's her whole body with the base texture. Looking pretty good. I don't know. That's a relative term here. But let's go ahead and kind of zoom in on the face, see if there's some more detail that can be managed here. Probably some more. So we are on layer 6, so I'm going to go into some like actual really high detail pores and or wrinkles. Probably like this wrinkled texture one is actually pretty good for a lot of high detail stuff like this. I'm going to zoom in a bit and kind of see what I'm doing. This is not the highest resolution I can go, by the way, but it's as high as I'm going to go for creating this kind of figure. You can see it really does amazingly add a lot to that skin texture when it's there. It's very subtle. but that's kind of its point. Just to, when the light comes across it, you don't want, it's shiny because it'll just look like plastic. If it's going to be a human-like character or a skinned, flesh-covered character, then this is really the better way, so it looks more lifelike is what I'm getting at. There is a flow. If you do retopology, this will be the same type of flow as you would if you were retopologizing this character. The what do you call it? The lines flow the same. I'll go back and I'll put in some different nose wrinkles there, or at least flesh type. I do have a lot of brushes for that, so it's just a matter of collecting brushes too. Not everything's a brush. I do a lot of stuff just with the regular damn standard tool, and I don't mean the damn standard tool. I mean it's called damn standard, and it's named after Damien Standard. It's named after a dude. It's a standard brush, and I don't know what his last name is or how that happened or anything like that, but that's what I know, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so with the face kind of, with that micro detail happening now, I'm just going to pull a little more through the head there. Just like so. You can crisscross if you want. Just got to be careful you don't overdo it, because it starts to look like a woven basket or something if you do a little too much of that. Small wrinkles happening. Be careful how hard you push, because you push too hard, you get some wonky stuff happening too. That one didn't really wonk out as much as I expected, but it will. So where there's lower resolution areas, like this neck obviously has been stretched more than the rest of the body, you'll wind up getting more stretched looks. So I'm going to go back to the damn standard here now, and I'm going to start detailing these sort of interesting splits here, like sharpening up like certain edges like that. Okay, and then we can come into the crack now and sort of push these down either side. That way you don't get that sort of smooth ditch valley thing happening in there. It's just supposed to look like where the mouth can open. Now, I don't think I'm going to make that happen. It's just going to be more of a scar, I think, kind of like the Joker kind of thing happening there. And detail out these just a bit more than they were, because they soften up. Well, they weren't actually ever really not softened, but I'm going to turn off the X symmetry so I can also detail up some of these cracks. They are meant to kind of be cracks, so you got to remember that and not make them just scarry things. So that kind of thing. If you're watching, please say hello. It's always nice to see. So, and yeah, I have to make a couple of horror items for a buddy of mine's got a game going, I guess, and I'm being given the awesome ability to be a part of it if I, get some stuff to him, which I definitely will. It's I'm just trying to maintain 5 things at once, but yeah, it sounds really cool. It's a horror game, so VR stuff. So I'm going to enjoy, hopefully, getting to be a part of that. So now I'm just detailing these particular cracks. Can do little micro cracks out from it if you want. So like that kind of. Let's go into this guy, and I'm reversing my damn standard to get a nice little lift on that lip of the cut there, or the crack. Kind of feels like a scar, and I keep forgetting that these really should be cracks and not flesh, but it's going to be whatever it's going to work out to be. This is one of those projects where I'm just going with it as I go, and many projects should go just like that. Yeah, my brush size a little sensitive there. Just going to get this one a bit deeper in here, and then I'll go back and reverse this out to get a little more of a edge sitting on it. So not too bad. Let me know what you think in the chat. So I'm going to zoom out, take a look, a bigger view of it all. It's pretty cool, I think. Just pop in a couple of deeper areas here for the fun of it. Okay, I think that's okay for that. Might want to, so I don't want to get all wrinkly, but man, there's a part of me that just says, it needs some more definition, I guess, in the around the lacrimal area there. In my opinion, because it's supposed to be kind of like beautiful and not all at the same time. So now I'm going to come in here and try to do a bit of detailing on these lips. This is the main sort of bumpiness. And then I can come back with an even smaller, I guess that's as small as that sticker's going to let me go right now, given the resolution of the character. And you can see that can really help out just a tiny bit more. Let's go even more of intensity. There we go. You get that real nice lippy thing happening. So as I'm saying, you don't have to use stamps, you don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. Just make a good character. Tiny bit bigger and a lot less strength there, and I'm going to just sort of edge this lip a little more. Just helps it feel more real. And it's not trying to be on or off or anything. This is a nightmare creature, so I'm not concerned about certain aspects. It looks great. And we're going to go, that's fine, down again and up in intensity, and we're going to reverse and really, I guess, cut in some more of these lines. Just a few. And I'm going to turn off the symmetry again. All right, let's just pull in that. What is that not working for? Let's just make sure we don't have a mask. Oh, it's because we have this alpha. We don't want that anymore. Let's get rid of that. Let's just make this a freehand. Matter of fact, this is supposed to be a square. Let's just cut away here now. Hopefully I am making sense. That's feeling too soft. What did I do here? Is that correct or is that not correct? Let me see. Yeah, I guess it is. Add that back on. Make sure that's where it needs to be. Okay, I think that's working for me. Let's just zoom out again. It's kind of like this weird, sort of broken living doll, hell creature, alien thing. The clothes are going to make a huge difference on this dude. Now I'm deciding, I mean, it is all skin tight clothing, so, well, not all, but a good portion of it. So I'm deciding if I want to do that straight in ZBrush or not. I really love making clothes in Marvelous Designer though, so I'm thinking of doing it there. So let's go ahead and just gonna go Z these back over. But this is, as you can see, the basic main model here. So I'll do another video. I'll come back in a bit and show you guys some more progress when I go in and take it out through Face Tools into ZBrush again and do all the expressions and the detail sculpting on the face. Cool. All right, we'll talk to you guys in a short